Hi everyone, this is Danielle, also known as Gently Smiling Jaws, and welcome to my Flosstube. I am recording this quite late on Saturday night, and so it may be posted late on Sunday, and there's just been a lot of stuff going on this week, and I woke up with a headache this morning, and I'm just getting around to doing this now, but I still wanted to get it done, so we'll see how this goes. I do have some, I have one fully finished object to share, and so we'll start with that since that's a win for this week. It is, let me remind myself of the pattern and designer. This is the Comfort and Joy by the Noteworthy needle, and I had finished the stitching a while back, but I got it finished into a flat fold today. I had watched a few different videos on YouTube from Vanna Pfeiffer and some other folks. Trying to remember, I think one of them might have been the Fat Quarter Shop, and maybe some others here and there, but doing that sort of got me going to give the flat fold finish a try. So I've got the stitching itself, and then the fabric is some fabric I had picked up last year from, I think it was Joann's. I think it was a small little bundle of where it would be a little pack of like fat quarters or something, and so I had gotten that last year, and so using it now. And then the chenille is from Lady Dot Creates. So this was my first attempt at doing that, doing a flat fold finish. So we'll see. I'm sure it could be better, but I am happy with how it turned out, especially for a first try. So I had kind of started, working on finishing it, but then just today, this was one of the things I was working on, figuring if I was this close to getting it done, I should just finish it and have it ready to show in the video. So here's I think this is the first fully finished object FFO that I've shown on here. So there is that. The second thing that I have to show, as I look up the pattern again here, is something that is both a new start and a finish. So I started it and then finished it since my last Flosstube. The pattern is mini bottle with a spring bee. The designer is Maria Bravco, and her Etsy shop, I believe it's CutePatternsByMaria. And this is, so here is, well, the finish. It is quite small there because this was my first try at stitching on 46 count fabric. I've been doing most of my stitching, my more recent stitching has been on either like 32 count or 40 count, and when I had last ordered the fabric, I had picked up a couple small little pieces of 46 count because I wanted to see whether or not I was comfortable with stitching on it, and whether it's something I'd like to use in the future. And I just got some small pieces because I didn't want to commit to something larger until I knew whether or not I was okay with stitching on it. And I think my decision is for something small like this, if the pattern's not big, I can deal with it for something small. Now, but for something larger, I think I would stick with 40 count or a lower count. The other thing going on with this pattern is I there's a lot of colors in it. I didn't want to buy more floss, so I think probably about half the colors are substitutions based on what I had in my stash. And then also I had imported the pattern into Pattern Keeper, and my fault for not looking as closely, but a number of the, I think there's a number of half stitches that the pattern calls for, and I did not notice that, and so all my stitches are done as full stitches, and then there's, you know, the back stitching also, and I'm sure I made some mistakes on there, but, you know, particularly for something of its size, you know, in general, I'm happy with how it turned out. And this is definitely one of those cases where backstitching really makes all the difference. I'm not a huge fan of doing the backstitching, but I really like how it turned out. And I was taking photos as I was working, so I will try to put in here some photos that show both it being finished with just, you know, the cross stitches, and then with the back stitching on it, so you can see the difference. And this, my original thought was, I got this bee pattern, and then I got another pattern that has a beetle in a bottle. I think she's got a number of patterns with different things in bottles. And my first thought was, well, maybe I could stitch both of those and make a bookmark, because, and I'll talk about it more later, but one of the Jingle Ball classes I signed up for was making bookmarks. But after doing this one, because my thought was I would make 2 bookmarks. After doing this one, I decided that I do want to stitch the other pattern, but I don't want to do the bee and the beetle and then do a second bee and beetle. So I'm going to do the bee and then the beetle. And so then that made me think, well, how do I want to finish this instead? What I think I may do, and my placement on this piece of fabric was based on the fact that I was going to do a bookmark out of this. Otherwise I would have moved it over more. I think I'm going to get some little 3-inch hoops. I don't have any that are that small right now, and then put that in a little hoop, and whether I do something to like wrap the hoop in fabric, or whether I get, I saw there's frames out there that you can get where you put the you have the fabric in the hoop and then you put that hoop in the frame. So I may do that with this and then the beetle one when I finish, because my thought was to give these as gifts. And I know I already have other stuff that I'm working on as gifts, and here I go starting something else. So I don't know, but it was a new start, but at least I got the stitching done. And that's one thing that I thought was nice about doing something small, is that you have the satisfaction of getting it finished. The other things I do have whips to show, but I've also been trying to work on that crochet blanket, which again, I'm not showing because there's not really, it's just bigger than it was. There's nothing really new or interesting to show about that. Once I get it finished, or once I start doing the border, if that's more interesting, maybe I can show part of that. But the issue that I was running into is that as I was crocheting, I'm trying to work on it in small bits at a time, because my issue is that I think how I'm doing it, or trying to get a bunch done and then maybe being, tense while I'm doing it, is that I've started to get some pain in my elbow, and so I don't want that to get worse. So I've been trying to continue along, but at the same time taking it a little easy, so that I'm not so that doesn't become an issue. The other things that I worked on, which was not as much as I would have liked, but I have made some progress on things. Birds to the Boughs, and I didn't even finish with the strand that I was using here. but I've moved the Q-snap and continued along, got some more border done, and yeah, so I am making progress, and not as much as I would have liked, since I didn't. Most of my stitching was focused on that little bee. So not too much progress here, but still there's some, so it's continuing along. And then I also made a bit of a dent in the Bivas sampler, getting into some of those animals there. And both with this sampler, because I'm using just, the one kind of variegated floss, and then the Birds to the Boughs, since that has, sections that are a single color that I can work on. The bee was definitely a lot of confetti and a lot of color changes, and for some things, for doing a little bit of that is okay, and it was sort of nice to see that one come to life as I put all the colors in there and made the color changes. But as far as my enjoyment of stitching, and as, a relaxing hobby for me, I prefer less color changes. So continuing along with stuff like this, or the sections in Birds to the Boughs, that's a little more up my alley. But it's nice to do a bit of both, because variety keeps things interesting. So that's all I have as far as whips. I did want to show a couple older finishes that I had. I think in my very first video I had shown kind of the very first thing that I had stitched, and well, I've got that and I'm going to keep that. I'm not in any hurry to sort of display it. But I think this was the second thing that I had stitched, which was a kit from the Witchy stitcher, just on Black Ada, the Stay Spooky, and I took it out of the hoop. I hadn't really done anything with it since. I think I would like to finish this in a hoop. I don't know that I would do the hoop in a frame route, but I do have some more Halloween fabric, so I think that when I order the smaller hoops that I had mentioned, I'll probably order some additional hoops of the size that I'd use for this one. I have to double check what that size was, and then probably wrap the hoop with some of the Halloween fabric and finish it that way, so it's kind of quick and simple, but that I actually can maybe stick this up on the wall back there and get some enjoyment out of it, instead of just having it sit somewhere. And I'm sure it has mistakes in it, with me not having a whole lot of experience when I did it, but it was certainly enjoyable to do, and since it's done, I might as well show it off. So I wanted to show that. And the next thing was one that I finished. I don't remember if it was earlier this year or it may have been last year, but this is the Trick or Treat from the Drawn Thread. I had ordered some kits from them last year, so this is using everything that came in the kit, and so I had finished this, and I am trying to figure out exactly how I'm going to finish this off to kind of fully finish it, because same as with this, now that it's complete, but it's just kind of been sitting there, and I'd like to actually enjoy it. So I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to do some sort of, not necessarily a flat fold, but some kind of, mounting this. Like I mentioned, I had Halloween fabric. I may do something, like I did with Comfort and Joy, with mounting this on, kind of mat board with batting, and then mount it onto secondary board that has some Halloween fabric on it, and I have some like mini easels around, and maybe I can do something like that so I can get some display stuff out of it. So that was another one that I want to do. This one, since I did it according to the kit, and this is stitched, I think it was 32 count linen that was in the kit, and the included thread was silk. I don't remember for certain what the brand was. I think it might have been Dinky Dyes. I don't have this stuff in front of me, unfortunately, since I'm not as prepared as I should have been. But it was stitched 1/2, which is what the pattern called for. If I was going to do this again, I might do it either 2/2, or do it on a higher count fabric. But still, this one, when this was my first time stitching on linen when I started this, and it took me a while, but it was enjoyable to do, and I'm glad I got the kits, and I still have, like I said, I've still got some more around, which again, things to start and do. But I'm glad I did the kit, because then I had, kind of everything there, and was able to give this a try and see whether or not I like stitching on linen before I invested in, any further fabric, and all that. And the kit also came with the little buttons. I think there was 3 little buttons, which are used to create the little spiders that are in there. Let's see, we've got there, spider there, and then another spider down there. And then there's some specialty stitches in there, but the instructions gave you all the info on how to do that. So some of the other kits that I have from them are other Halloween ones. I don't know that I'm going to be starting them anytime soon, but I do think their patterns are cute, and this is the one that I just happened to start with, so I wanted to share that as well, since it was finished. Even though it was some time ago, I figured I might as well show it off. What else? If you watched my extra video that I posted last week, where I was showing drinking the Chaud Puer tea, I talked a bit about the Jingle Ball in that video, but since I figured not everyone watched that video, I might as well talk about the Jingle Ball here as well. So I did get tickets to the Jingle Ball. I know that when things had first gone live, it was a little tricky, checking out, and for me, I had a delay before I could get my tickets, because when things went live, I was at work. I didn't have a window immediately where I could jump on and try to get the tickets. I had already plotted out which classes I wanted, but I was away from the office briefly when they went live, so I got back to the office and tried to check out, and that's when I was trying to do it on my phone, and I was running into issues. And from what I was seeing, the kitted versions of the tickets that I wanted were already sold out by that point anyway, for the ones I was going to go for. So at that point, I just said, I'm not going to waste any more time on this right now. PDF tickets will be available. I'll just wait, briefly until I get home, and then I can go ahead and get that done. And I did get all the classes I wanted. There was one class I didn't get the time that I wanted, because the PDF ticket for the slot that I wanted was showing as sold out once I got to my the process of actually purchasing my tickets. I know that they sort of made more of those available later, but by that point I'd already purchased the ticket for the other slots, so I know I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to watch one, because it ended up being an overlapping class, so I'm gonna have to watch one of the two classes later on. But that will be fine. But let me look and see what my list of classes are, so I can tell you exactly what I had signed up for. So the classes that I signed up for, let me take a look here. I'm just bringing up the Jingle Ball website and looking at their list of classes so I can remember what I signed up for. I'm just going to go through how they're in order on the website. There's a complimentary class for the perforated paper ornaments on finishing those. That one, since it's a free one, I'm planning to watch that. That's something I haven't shown on here, and actually I need to finish it. And some time ago I had gotten one of those, the little Mill Hill Halloween ornaments, and I partially finished that, and then I set it aside and never got back to doing it, so I need to finish that off. And after I finish the stitching, hopefully that class will help me decide how to finish it. I will also be taking the decorative pin making with Beth Twist, mainly because mainly the reason I wanted to do it is because in the past, looking on Etsy, I had seen that there were folks that made really cute, like, lamp-worked beads, and I always thought that they were, adorable, if, spendy, since there's a lot of work put into those, but I've never ordered any because I figured, what am I going to do with it? So I saw this class, thought, oh, maybe this would be a way to use some of those beads that I like to look at from time to time. So I suspect, I didn't get a kitted version, so I suspect this may be one where I watch the class and then afterwards maybe get materials and give it a try. I don't know, that because some of it is not knowing the details of what works best. I don't necessarily want to spend a lot of money on, fancy handmade beads if they aren't going to work for what I'm planning to use them for. So I'd like to actually go through the class and make sure I know what I'm doing before I start, spending money. I will also be doing the Candy Cane Biscornu class with Janine McGowan. That's, again, I didn't get any kitted ones, so this will just be, with the PDF version. But what I think I'm going to do is, because I still haven't, I'm partially done with the second side of the Too Many, or the Too Many Legs pattern from Mojo Stitches, where there was the Biscornu. So I've got one side of that done, and I've partially stitched the other side. So I think my plan, because I have enough other projects in the works, is that I would like to finish up that pattern and then use that as what I am trying to finish for the class, instead of trying to stitch up the class pattern when I've got enough other things I'm trying to tackle before the holidays. And then what else? Let me open this in a new tab here. The Learn Your Specialty Stitches class with Jeanette Douglas. I have signed up for that as well, since it's a like it was a small little pattern and just a way to learn more about different stitches, that being a pretty new cross stitcher I'm not really familiar with. So that's one that I have signed up for. Let's see, did I just lose my tab? Where is it? I lost my tab. Let's go back to it. Okay. The seasonal bookmark finishing with Cheryl McKinnon. That one I had also signed up for because it looked like, a fun, small little project, and I'd like to know how to do, the bookmark thing. And like I said, with the bee, my original intention for that pattern was to make bookmarks. And even though I don't think I'm going that route anymore, still interested to know in how to do that, that finishing. And those are the classes that I have signed up for. There was, I'm sure I would have loved to have taken all of them, but at the same time, trying to both, take classes that I was interested in, as well as trying not to put a lot of pressure on myself to do a lot of stitching just before the class in the next month. So even though, you can watch the classes for the information, which is kind of what I'm going to be doing in some situations, but yeah, it's something I am looking forward to. So a ways off, but still not that far away, because the end of the year is coming up pretty quick. So those are, I think, the main things that I wanted to talk about. My goal to do in the next 2 weeks is both continue along and try and make more progress on that blanket, at least on that one, since I am decreasing as I go along with each row. Things are starting to get a little shorter, and as those rows start to go quicker, I think my motivation to speed up as much as I can without aggravating my elbow will get me moving along, and I want to finish that one up so then I can focus on the second one that I want to have finished. I think all hope is lost as far as doing the third one that I had planned. Perhaps I'll get that third one finished next year. And I still, at the time I got the yarn for these blankets, I was thinking, well, I'm gonna make another blanket for myself as well, and I've got some yarn I'm very excited to use, but I'm not even touching that because I've got way too many other things to tackle first. And again, there's more projects I want to start. I need to get back to working on Saga again, but yeah, after finishing up with this, I'm going to edit this video and see if I can get it up on time, and then I think tomorrow is going to be a day where I can just sit down and get some stitching in on some of my other whips. So that is it for this week, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Obviously, I was wearing my Halloween cardigan again because there's a window in which I can wear this, and I want to get use out of it. So, all right. Well, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in a couple weeks. All right. Bye.